Hello everyone. Today I will be discussing a remarkably well-preserved archaeological gem dating from 110 AD, the markets of Trajan. It's considered the first and oldest shopping mall in the world. It was an extravagant public space and commercial complex. The bustling markets were a multifunctional building with shops, administrative offices, and warehouses. In this video, you will take a walk in the footsteps of ancient shoppers and merchants, and take an evocative glimpse of what everyday life was like in 2nd century Rome. But who built the Trajan markets? Trajan's market is the modern day name given to a public complex built by the Roman Emperor Trajan. Emperor Trajan ruled from 98 AD to 117 AD. He's considered one of the best emperors of the Roman Empire, expanding it to its maximum extent. The empire stretched from Scotland down to North America and swept east across the Mediterranean as far as Mesopotamia or modern day Iraq. Trajan, who earned the name Optimus, was a highly successful general, winning three major conflicts against the Dacians in the east, resulting in the Roman Empire reaching its greatest size up to that date. He initiated various building programs in Rome, including this market, leaving a permanent mark on the city. Trajan, the second of the five good emperors, was instrumental in the Roman Empire's expansion during the 2nd century. He was known for his benevolence and generosity towards his subjects. During his 19-year reign, Trajan ruled strictly but fairly, and he struck an effective balance between making conquests and maintaining a high level of life for his people. He died in CE 117 after falling ill defending the empire's extensive borders. This ambitious design project was most likely the vision of Apollodorus of Damascus, the renowned ancient architect who oversaw the renovation of the Forum itself. Apollodorus of Damascus, a military engineer and architect who accompanied the Emperor Trajan on his campaigns, is credited with the design of most of the imperial buildings erected under Trajan. He is described as the master builder of the whole work, and is credited with the project of moving an entire hill to make room for a public space. Apollodorus was a Damascus-born Greek engineer and architect who worked primarily for the Roman Emperor Trajan. Although he is mentioned in only two ancient sources, several of his buildings can still be identified. It was a center of commerce and civic life, featuring over 150 shops and offices, a covered market, and a residential apartment block. On the ground level, there was a large marketplace square facing a busy street on the edge of the Forum. This space was filled with small alcoves lined with travertine stone and set into the building's semicircular facade, with more alcoves on the second level above. These recesses were designed for individual merchants to set up shops and display their goods. Historians have referred to Trajan's market as the world's first shopping mall for this reason. On the second and third levels of the complex were additional arcades or series of consecutive arches that also provided alcoves. Initially thought to be an extension of the marketplace below, historians now believe these were administrative offices used by Emperor Trajan's government for state commerce and other local policy matters. The complex was built at one end of Trajan's Forum and includes buildings that serve various functions, primarily commercial. Constructed on three levels into the terraced hillside behind, access was provided via connecting staircases. The ground level alcoves opened up into a street and were used for small shops. While more shops were located in the arcades above, the alcoves varied in depth due to their construction following the bedrock of the hill. Originally, they would have been framed with travertine, enhancing their capacity for displaying goods. One alcove has been restored to still illustrate its original appearance and features a typical window above the lintel. The markets house the Museum of Imperial Forums in the upper levels. You can literally walk outside, atop, and amid the ruins. From here, you can go outside. From walkways on the curved top, you'll have splendid views over the forums and the city. The Great Hall is the current entrance to the markets. Trajan's market had a grand hall with a vaulted concrete roof supported by pillars that allowed natural light and fresh air to enter. It's a vast central space covered with barreled groin vaults, resting on a large Taventine shelves. The vaults allowed air to circulate and provided light from two levels of shops. The upper floors housed offices. They were linked to the main floor by hidden flying buttresses. The great vaulted market hall is an ambitious and brilliant design reflecting the skills of the designer architect. The buildings are largely constructed using concrete and faced with brick, making it one of the finest examples of Imperial Roman architecture using these materials. The decorative, semicircular facade includes brick pilasters with travertine bases and capitals framing each archway on the second level. Decorative brickwork gives an added elegance, including entablatures of carved brick and alternative triangular and semicircular pediments. White stucco would have once covered much of this brickwork, and the pilasters, entablature, and pediments display evidence of having once been painted red. Though, unlike most other Roman buildings, the brick facade wasn't completely covered with marble or stucco. The architect liked the contrast between the warm brick and the white stone lining the arches and windows. The great hemicycle, a striking semicircular terraced structure, is the central body of the Trajan market. This architectural marvel houses over 150 shops that line the Via Biblioteca. Constructed primarily from concrete with a brick exterior, the building exemplifies Imperial Roman architecture. The brickwork incorporates unique triangular and semicircular patterns at the top. The shops were once decorated with frescoed walls and black and white floor mosaics. Each shop was different. On the ground floor, the alcove-like shops likely sold dry goods, flowers, and vegetables. The upper floors, with their gallery spaces, were for specialty shops that sold oil, wine, and exotic Eastern spices. Some ground-level spaces may have been used for services such as barbers, cobblers, or workshops. The shops were typically a single room with a wide entrance, sometimes secured with shutters or a curtain. They might have extended further back or had storage space behind or above the selling area. The second floor has 26 arched windows, which once lit up a covered walking line with shops. Above the hemicycle, Trajan's administrative offices were located. There, bureaucrats distributed free grain to unemployed citizens to pacify them and prevent riots. The third floor is less well preserved, but a small room contains remnants of grotesque frescoes. Via Biblioteca is an ancient road that winds through a complex, lined with well-preserved shop fronts. The name comes from the Latin word bibere, meaning to drink, reflecting its history of housing numerous beverage shops. This road connects the complex's upper and lower areas. It resembles a typical urban street, but is impossibly ancient. The road is paved with large stones and lined with shops, featuring wide door frames by travertine stone doorposts, complete with sidewalks on either side. The markets are a dense, multi-story building with a concave facade. It's a complex urban space, a spectacular display of Roman engineering. Today, many portions of Trajan's markets can still be seen in modern city of Rome. They have been painstakingly uncovered, partially restored, so that they can be displayed as part of the city's amazing cultural heritage. It is open to the public and houses the Museum of Imperial Forums, which contains artifacts from many different periods in the history of the Roman Forum. Like many ancient Roman ruins, it remains an imposing testament to Roman power and influence, despite being nearly 2,000 years old. It's remarkable that you can visit multiple levels of this ancient building, showcasing the advanced skills of Roman architects without modern equipment. Constructed with brick and concrete, it offers a glimpse into the life of ancient Rome.